Steelers Nation, we need to talk about where this team is and what it really means to be watching this franchise at this moment. It's impossible to ignore the weight that comes with following the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially when the pressure is mounting and the expectations feel heavier than ever. Mike Tomlin's press conference this week gave us a glimpse into his mindset, and if you followed him long enough, you probably had a sense of what he would say, but hearing it out loud, in his tone, makes it hit differently. There's no sugarcoating with Tomlin. He approaches football with a laser focus on the next game. That's it, the game that's coming. He doesn't dwell on patterns. He doesn't let trends from past seasons dictate the decisions for the present, and he certainly doesn't entertain the idea that a long-term narrative can influence his approach. Every play, every snap, every adjustment is made with one goal in mind: winning the football game that's next on the schedule. That's why when questions about changes to the roster came up, whether it was Patrick Queen potentially missing a game in Baltimore or who steps up in his absence, the answer was simple but precise. They're moving guys around. Adjustments happen, but it's always about the present. There's no grand shakeup, no sweeping alteration to the coaching staff, because in Tomlin's world, the fundamentals remain. Watching him answer questions about the repeated plays that work for Buffalo, you could see the care with which he analyzes film, breaking down the reasons the opponents found success. And yet when it comes to discussing why some players see little action, he stays consistent with his philosophy. He values depth and versatility, and he refuses to get drawn into participation debates. His responses can feel frustrating to fans or even observers, but they are deliberate. He knows exactly what he is willing to discuss and what is irrelevant to the focus at hand. That focus is always on the next snap, the next drive, and ultimately the next victory. Even when the topic of fan frustration surfaced, when chants about firing him echoed through the stadium, Tomlin addressed it in his trademark way. He acknowledged the sentiment. He respected it, but he didn't let it derail the purpose of his press conference. Fans come to games expecting to be entertained, and while a win makes the experience enjoyable, Tomlin recognizes that football is about more than just appeasing the crowd. It's about performance on the field and decisions in the locker room that shape that performance. That balance between respecting the fans and prioritizing football itself is a delicate one, and few coaches manage it as consistently as he does. It's tempting to interpret his approach as detached, but it's far from it. Tomlin has spent over a decade cultivating and understanding that seasons are self-contained units. Patterns across multiple years exist, sure, but they don't dictate the strategy for the present. Everything is measured in weeks, in games, and in the moments that occur on the field that day. That's why his answers can feel tight, compact, and almost minimalist. There's no indulgence in philosophizing about history or speculating on future trends. He addresses the immediate, the actionable, and he does so with an economy of words that keeps the focus squarely where it belongs. When fans react, whether with cheers or jeers, it's part of the ecosystem, but it's not the driver of decisions. This week, as the Steelers prepare for the upcoming clash in Baltimore, every adjustment, every personnel change, and every tactical nuance is evaluated through that lens. The objective is singular: prepare the team to win the game that's next. This mindset resonates with longtime observers of the Steelers because it encapsulates a philosophy that has underpinned the franchise for years. Winning is not an abstract concept. It is the tangible outcome of preparation, discipline, and execution. And while the media or the public may press for answers on a broader scale, asking about patterns, trends, or historical implications, Tomlin remains steadfast in his refusal to be drawn off course. His answers, while sometimes seemingly dismissive, are actually indicative of a precise internal logic. Every season exists in its own vacuum. Every game has its own story, and every player's contribution is evaluated on its own merits. That clarity of purpose can be reassuring, even if it occasionally frustrates those who long for commentary on larger arcs. The press conference, like much of his leadership, is a careful balancing act, demonstrating authority without arrogance, focus without tunnel vision, and respect without distraction. And then there's the broader context of fan engagement, which is particularly potent in a city like Pittsburgh. The Steelers are not just a team. They are part of the city's identity. Sports here aren't treated as mere entertainment. They are part of the fabric of the community, embedded in the culture, and entwined with civic pride. Fans' reactions, whether expressed through chants, applause, or audible discontent, carry meaning beyond the moment. They reflect expectations, history, and the emotional investment of a city that has grown up with the Steelers as an integral part of life. When a crowd reacts strongly, whether for better or worse, it's not merely about the current season. It's about legacy, reputation, and the ongoing dialogue between team and city. Tomlin understands this, but he also understands the limits of what he can control. He can't manipulate crowd sentiment, but he can manage the team's performance. And in his eyes, that is where the energy should be focused. The parallels between fan frustration with the Steelers and the broader sports landscape in Pittsburgh, including the Pirates, add an additional layer of complexity. Pittsburgh fans are passionate, invested, and unafraid to express dissatisfaction, especially when it feels warranted. Ownership, management decisions, and team performance are scrutinized intensely, and history has shown that the city reacts swiftly to perceived mismanagement or underperformance. This is not apathy. It is engagement on a deeply personal level. People here care because the teams are woven into the city's identity. A loss is felt beyond the stadium, and a win resonates in ways that transcend the box score. It's this intensity that makes following the Steelers both exhilarating and, at times, frustrating. Fans expect a standard, they demand accountability, and they know their voices matter, even when expressed in the most visible and direct ways. Every decision Tomlin makes, every play called, every snap taken is scrutinized against this backdrop. It's not just a game. It's an extension of community, legacy, and expectation. When Patrick Queen might miss a game, or when specific players see limited action, these decisions are not made lightly. They are measured, calculated, and always focused on what will yield the best performance for the upcoming game. That singular focus on the present, combined with an awareness of fan passion and scrutiny, creates a dynamic where leadership, strategy, and psychology intersect. Observing this, it becomes clear why Tomlin's press conferences are both precise and resistant to broader speculation. He knows the stakes, he knows the audience, and above all, he knows that preparation and execution on the field dictate success more than commentary or speculation ever could. As we move beyond the tactical breakdowns and player evaluations, it's impossible to ignore the cultural and emotional pulse of Steelers Nation right now. The relationship between the team and its fans is unlike any other in the league. This city doesn't just watch football. It breathes it, it debates it, it lives and dies with every snap. And that intensity is something Mike Tomlin understands, even if it doesn't always translate into direct engagement with fan sentiment in his press conferences. He doesn't need to verbally appease the crowd because he knows the true work happens on the field. It's preparation, adjustments, and execution that ultimately calm the roars or the boos, not a soundbite or a staged response. Fans will react, and they will continue to react passionately because Pittsburgh is a city of diehards, of loyalists who demand accountability and reward excellence without compromise. That dynamic creates a tension that's visible at every home game, every away matchup, and every televised segment that attempts to parse the mood of the faithful. The question, then, isn't whether fans will show up, but how they will express themselves when expectations are not met. And that's where the story of the stadium experience comes into play. People sitting in the iconic yellow seats are not passive observers. They are participants, vocal, exacting, and deeply invested. Every cheer, every groan, every chant reflects a level of engagement that's unmatched in most other cities. They've seen seasons of triumph and disappointment. They've celebrated Super Bowl victories, and they've endured years of unmet expectations. That history matters. When fans voice frustration, whether through coordinated chants or spontaneous outbursts, it's a reflection of both passion and impatience. They are invested financially, emotionally, and culturally, and the team's performance is a direct mirror of the city's pride. Tomlin recognizes that, which is why he maintains a tight focus on the present while respecting, but not pandering to, the collective voice of Steelers Nation. This week, as the team heads to Baltimore, the stakes are clear. A victory isn't just a boost in the standings. It's a statement about the team's direction, capability, and discipline. Every practice leading up to the game, every meeting in the film room, every adjustment in the locker room carries weight. Injuries, player rotations, and tactical decisions all converge to form a single goal: win the next game. Tomlin's philosophy is simple but relentless. He doesn't allow the pressures of past failures or the shadow of fan criticism to dictate his strategy. He focuses on what he can control, and that is the immediate preparation and execution required to succeed on the field. Every player understands that their role is critical, that no detail is too small, and that accountability is non-negotiable. This mindset, instilled over years of leadership, creates a structure where performance is paramount and distractions are secondary. Fan reaction, though intense, is part of the ecosystem that fuels performance rather than diminishes it. Those in attendance bring energy, expectation, and scrutiny. The stadium is not just a venue. It's a crucible where skill, strategy, and emotion collide. Fans have every right to voice frustration, to express disappointment, and to celebrate excellence. The stadium becomes a reflection of the city's heartbeat, and every action on the field resonates far beyond the sidelines. When players execute successfully, the crowd erupts, validating the effort and discipline that Tomlin has demanded. When mistakes occur, the response is immediate and vocal, but it is also a measure of the passion that fuels the franchise. It is this interplay between performance and reaction that defines what it means to be part of Steelers Nation. The parallels between football and other sports in Pittsburgh, particularly the Pirates, highlight how entrenched this emotional investment is. Fans here don't separate their identities from their teams. The success or failure of a squad is deeply personal. Ownership decisions, coaching strategies, and player performance are scrutinized with intensity because the city understands that these elements define the character of the franchise. That same energy that manifested in Sell the Team chants at PNC Park is mirrored in the football stadium, where frustrations and expectations coexist. People are willing to challenge, to debate, and to question, but the underlying driver is always passion. This is a city that demands engagement, that refuses to be passive, and that sees its teams as extensions of community, culture, and identity. Understanding this context is critical to interpreting not just fan reactions, but the strategies and decisions that define leadership within the franchise. Returning to the current season, it's clear that the Steelers' performance and the management of expectations are intrinsically linked. Every adjustment, from personnel changes to tactical decisions, carries implications not just for the game, but for the broader narrative that fans are watching closely. Injuries, lineup changes, and on-field mistakes are analyzed through the dual lenses of immediate consequence and historical context. Tomlin's focus, however, remains unwavering. He evaluates each scenario through the prism of the next game, ensuring that preparation and execution are optimized. This approach is as much about building resilience and focus within the team as it is about achieving victories. It's a philosophy that prioritizes what can be controlled and minimizes distractions that cannot. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling through NFL circles as speculation intensifies around DK Metcalf's future with the Steelers. Sources close to the organization suggest that the star wide receiver, known for his rare combination of size, speed, and physicality, could be on the move sooner rather than later. While no official statement has been released, insiders hint that Metcalf's days in Pittsburgh might be numbered, leaving fans and analysts alike pondering where his next chapter might unfold. Metcalf's impact on the field has been undeniable, turning heads with jaw-dropping catches and unmatched downfield explosiveness. Yet, behind the scenes, murmurs about contract negotiations, team dynamics, and potential clashes with the coaching staff have fueled the speculation. Some insiders point to the Steelers' evolving offensive strategy as a possible factor. Could the team be recalibrating their roster in a way that makes Metcalf's role less central? Or is this a classic case of a superstar seeking a fresh start elsewhere to maximize his career potential? The rumor mill has been quick to connect Metcalf with several high-profile franchises rumored to be in the market for an elite receiver. Teams desperate for a game-changing target could see Metcalf as the missing piece to elevate their offense. Meanwhile, Steelers faithful are left in suspense, torn between excitement for potential trades and the heartbreak of seeing one of their marquee players possibly don another jersey. Social media has been ablaze with fan theories, mock trades, and hot takes, each more speculative than the last, underscoring the electric buzz surrounding this potential move. While no deal has materialized, the chatter alone is enough to dominate headlines and keep Metcalf at the center of every conversation. Analysts are weighing the impact on team chemistry, offensive schemes, and ticket sales, all while trying to predict which direction the wideout might take. One thing is certain: wherever DK Metcalf lands, he will remain a focal point of discussion, both on and off the field. Until the Steelers, or any team, make an official announcement, the NFL community will be left to wonder just how this high-stakes saga will unfold, fueling speculation, debate, and endless what-ifs that refuse to settle. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.